slices open so you can see the inside of it.
Alright, today I am going to be making ramen noodle, egg drop, miso soup. Absolute goodness if you ask me. So what you're going to need is ramen noodles. Right here I have beef flavored ramen noodles. You're going to need 1 egg. You're going to need some miso paste. Okay, pick up some miso paste. And some green onion. I have plenty of green onions to go around. Alright, so green onion and 100% all-American garlic. Let's get started with this recipe. Now the first thing I'm going to do with this recipe is I'm going to take a little bit of the miso paste. I'm going to take a little bit of miso paste and I'm going to put some of the miso paste inside of the water. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of the miso paste and I'm going to let that cook right inside of there. Just like that. So I have the miso paste in there. Go ahead and put a little bit of the miso paste away. And then I'm going to stir it because you want this miso paste to actually dissolve. Okay, you don't want any clumps of miso paste in there. So I'm going to let that dissolve. And this is going to add a nice flavoration to the soup. And while that's going on, I'm going to add a little bit of green onion. Right here, I have some green onion. Add that. And that's going to cook down a little bit and add a little bit of flavor to the soup. And then I'm going to take a couple of slices of garlic right here. Add that to it. Now, once I have all of this in here, I'm just going to go ahead and stir this. Okay, this is going to cook and add a little bit of flavoration to the pot, and so it can permeate the ramen noodles. And while that's going on, I'm going to take an egg. I have 1 egg, and I'm going to put the egg inside here. I'm going to go ahead and crack the egg, and go ahead and put the egg in there like that. And that's going to start to cook. Now, it is imperative that you go ahead and get started with the ramen noodles. So I'm going to go ahead and open the ramen noodles. And I am going to take the ramen noodle packet and I'm going to add this to it really quick. Just like that. And there's some crunchies in here. You can add the crunchies to that. Now, while this is cooking, if you want, you can add a little bit of the beef flavor in there. I already have the miso paste in there, so it's going to have a lot of flavoration. But if you want to add a little bit of beef flavor, you can add some. I tend not to add too much of the beef flavor when I have the miso paste in there because I don't want too much sodium. It's 2020 and I'm trying to eat a little bit healthier this year. So I'm going to add a little bit of the flavoration to it. Just sprinkle a little bit on top like that. And I'm not going to use it all. I'm just going to toss the rest of it away. And then I'm going to pull out my thongs. I'm going to take my thongs and I'm just going to turn this around a little bit. And I'm going to flip the ramen noodles. And this is going to get the flavoration down in there. All right, it's going to get the flavoration down in there and start to cook. Absolute goodness, if you ask me. Absolute goodness. All right, so that's going to be cooking around in there. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see some more of this. All right, absolute goodness. Doesn't it look good? All right, so this is starting to cook up, starting to bubble up. The egg is cooking nicely. The ramen noodles is cooking almost to al dente. And I'm just going to separate it a little bit. 6 degrees of separation. All right, to make sure that the noodles get cooked all the way. I'm just going to let this slowly cook in here. And meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and grab my bowl. Grab a bowl for this. I have a bowl, and this is what I'm going to put it in. I'm going to set this to the side. All right, set that to the side. And meanwhile, I'm just going to go ahead and cook the ramen noodles. They should be about done. Let me check up on the egg. Let me find a spoon with holes in it. I couldn't find a spoon with holes in it, so I'm going to have this spoon, this punch bowl spoon, and I'm just going to look at the egg really quick, okay? Look at that. Doesn't it look good? Absolute goodness. It's cooking just to perfection. Just going to go ahead and stir this up. And look at the broth. I'm going to show you the broth. Come in here. I know you want a sip of that. You're thirsty, right? I bet you are. Absolute goodness. All right, so this is good broth right here that I made in here. It has the miso paste. It has the flavoration of the onion, the garlic, the onion, the garlic, and the beef flavoration. Absolute goodness. Really good broth right there. All right. It should be about done. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this slightly. And then I'm going to turn the pot off. I'm going to turn the pot off and I'm going to get this prepared. All right. So I'm going to turn the pot off. Get the heat away from it. And then I'm going to come over here. And we're going to pour this into the bowl. Get that bowl. That's the bowl. All right. So I'm going to pour this in here. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and add some of the broth to it. Add some of the broth to the soup. Absolute goodness. Look at that broth in there. Look at the broth. And then I'm going to get the noodles. Add some of the noodles to it. Absolute goodness. Look at the noodles. Cooked to perfection. Not too much. Not too little. All right, put some of the noodles in there. And then we have the prize in here, which is the egg. Absolutely. I'm going to just bring it back over here so you can see it a little bit better. It's hot. All right. So I'm going to bring the over here and I'm going to add the egg to it. The egg should be hot. All right. I'm going to bring my punch spoon and I'm going to put the egg right on top. Look at that. Look at that. Let me bring it over here so you can see a little bit better. Now look at that. Put a little bit more broth in there. There's some green onions in here. Green onion. Throw that on top. And then I'm going to cut open, I'm going to slice open the egg so you can see what I'm working with right there. Absolute goodness. All right, let me find a sharp knife. And then I grab a fork. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to slice open that egg so you can see the absolute goodness. I'm going to zoom in as well. Go over here. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to slice it. See, all right, slice this open so you can see the inside of the egg. And that's how I like it right there. You see right there? And then I can mix this yolk in with the noodle for absolute goodness. Now, if you want the egg to be actually a little bit more done than this, you just cook it a little bit longer and it'll be solidified with inside. That's how you make ramen noodles, miso, egg drop soup. Absolute goodness if you ask me. Absolute goodness.